2019, I'm going through some of the best movies for every year that I have been alive. And in 2019, I turned 29.
Will's doing it.
And I know this is not every movie that came out in 2019. These are just some of my favorites, some that really are great, and I want to talk about them. If you think I missed anything, please leave it down below. Let's start off strong, and I mean Best Picture strong. We're talking about Parasite. Bong Joon-ho is just incredible, and this movie was insane and great. Obviously, it was a big deal that, a Korean film, with subtitles, the whole thing, won Best Picture. That's great. There's so many films internationally but here in America, we're just like, I can't read. I don't want to read. I want to watch. But this movie kind of cut through all that with just being a really, really interesting plot. The title kind of tells it all. It's about this family who's literally being a parasite to this other family, just kind of coming in and trying to take over their lives and live the way they live without really, I guess working for it. This movie is just incredible and, has such a vibe to it. It's just really, really well done. Next up, we have Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Some people, this is not their favorite. I absolutely love this movie. Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio are so charismatic and amazing in this movie. There's a whole scene of Leonardo DiCaprio in his trailer just speaking to, just yelling at himself for drinking too much the night before, not knowing his lines well enough, all this different stuff, and it is gold. I hope Leo just improvised it all. That's incredible. I'm just a huge fan of Quentin Tarantino's dialogue writing. He can have a mundane scene with just two people talking, but it's so engaging all the way through. And of course, then it ends with an insanely violent scene that is just half oh my gosh, horrific, and also very funny at the same time. And he did a lot of these movies where Inglourious Basterds, this one where it's revisionist history. It's it was about the Manson murders, but he decided what if they didn't happen? This is what actually happened in his universe. So I really like that, and all the characters are great. Let's go back to World War II. We have Jojo Rabbit. This was Taika Waititi movie that was, actually pretty hilarious, but then very heartfelt and really, it hit a lot of different quadrants, which was why it was really, really, really well done. You have this kid Jojo, who's a young German boy who grows up in the Nazi youth, and he goes through the camps and all these different things, and he is told as a young child Jews are bad, this whole thing, as a young German at the time probably would be. And he has an imaginary friend who is played by Taika Waititi, who is just Hitler, which is so just weird and silly, but then he makes him look like a goof, which is great. Scarlett Johansson plays his mom. She's incredible. I won't spoil, how it kind of ends, but it's very touching, very sad, very interesting. He finds out that Scarlett Johansson, the mom, is, harboring one of these Jewish girls in his house, so she's not found. At first he's like, no, you're bad. I've been told you're bad. But then as he gets to know her, he's like, oh, obviously you're not bad. You're just another girl. And it's, it's a touching story through the eyes of a little boy in this terrible, terrible time in the world history that, finding the humanity in people, which we really should do more of even these days. Now let's take it back a little bit further to World War I. We have 1917. This is a hell of a war movie. I remember I was so lucky I got to see this in theaters because some of the shots on the big screen are just amazing to watch. It's they've made this movie to make it look like it's all in kind of one shot, no cuts, no one character's talking, cut back and forth. They kind of try to stay over the soldiers' shoulders, kind of the whole movie. Obviously, there's hidden cuts. We are going from scene to scene. It would be impossible to do, but some of these scenes are really, really well done. The big one where he's, the cameras are running in front of him, but there's war happening. He's just running through straight to camera, and the camera's, booking it the other way. Such an amazing shot. So much coordination for this movie to be done, where they're trying to do these big long shots, and anything that maybe messed up or wasn't on its mark, start back at the beginning. That stuff is so difficult, but it turned out amazing. All the actors did amazing. The realness of this was up there with Saving Private Ryan, with the realness of the horrors of war. So, 1917, really, really incredible war movie. Top of the list for sure. Switching it up to more the musical side, we have Rocketman. We have Taron Egerton playing Elton John. It's one of my favorites. This movie was so well done and weaving Elton John's story, but then still having a really good time with the music. I would love to see this on as a Broadway kind of thing. It was so well done because you had, I think, very similar Bohemian Rhapsody around this time as well. That the song Queen is great, the song is great, Rami Malek was pretty great, but it just didn't flow as well. It didn't have as much cohesion. This was a full on musical going all the way through. Absolutely loved him as Elton John. It was really him singing, which I think is always adds to it. When it's someone kind of just lip syncing to someone, obviously Freddie Mercury for Bohemian Rhapsody, that's not something that anyone can just do. But I like how Taron Egerton didn't try to sound exactly like Elton. He put his own spin on it, but he did a really, really great job. If you have not seen it, it's a really, really fun watch. Next up, we got Knives Out. A murder mystery whodunit. Daniel Craig plays this very eccentric kind of detective. He's got this drawl. He's this Kentucky kind of fried chicken kind of drawl. He's great. It's an amazing, ensemble cast. You got Jamie Lee Curtis, Chris Evans, Ana de Armas. A huge list. I don't want to name everybody, but really, really well done. I'm not going to spoil anything if you had not seen it. It's it's a whodunit. You're looking for clues. You're just thinking what's going on. They made another one that was just on Netflix. I think they're making another one that's just going to be for Netflix. They're trying to, once they find a hit, Netflix just I'm going to do it until it's dead. But Daniel Craig always is great in these, and it's always a fun murder mystery. And coming up next, we got Uncut Gems. This is the Safdie film movie, and Adam Sandler just doing something so different than he's usually doing, which I really appreciated. But this movie stressed me out, and obviously that means it was good because it took a reaction out of me. Every time he would make a decision, I'm like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? He just would dig himself deeper and deeper, and it's so cool seeing Adam Sandler just kind of bust out of his box and play a completely different character than he usually does. It's so interesting to see. And this kind of movie is just one of those where you watch it, you have a panic attack during because he just kind of makes you insane, and then you leave it, you're like, oh my God, why did he do that? But that's the flaw of the character. He has a gambling addiction. He's got problems. He always thinks he just is a little bit farther, one more away from the big win. But even when he gets that big win, he won't be happy. And just really, really great all the way through. Don't go into this movie being already stressed because this movie will give you more stress, but just really, really great movie. And last on the list for 2019, we have Avengers Endgame. This was the height of the MCU. I haven't seen any sign that we're going to be up these heights again, but time will tell. We'll see. But as of filming in beginning of 2025, as I'm filming this, I don't think Endgame will ever be topped because it just built so well, and everyone coming through the portals at the end. I remember seeing this in theaters. The amount of times people full on cheered. Captain America getting Thor's hammer, all this different stuff was just there's so many huge moments that it's just one of the best theater experiences you could have. And they built it up so well over all these years. They didn't rush it. They didn't go in and say, we're going to make it. They didn't have a plan for this. It kind of just it organically built, and they saw where it was heading, and they're like, all right, let's capitalize on this. So, they did such an amazing job that it's hard to recapture that lightning in a bottle. But you never know. But yeah, when they came out of the portals and everybody was there, and they had all the team ups you could think of, it's one of the top 10 movie moments out there. It was just so well done. 2019, what a year for cinema. If you like this, I have a playlist going of every year I've done, so 1990 all the way up to today. If you could please subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. That'd be great. Follow me on Letterboxd. I'm posting stuff on there all the time. I love making these. I hope you enjoy watching them. What was your favorite movie of 2019? Leave it down below. Have a good one.